Hey, it's Bumbleberry. Welcome back to Seduce Me to the Demon War. We're about to go back. I have different artifacts. I want to hug my Erik fiance. La la la. Diana walked to the table and took note of what she saw, nodding.
This should work.
You're in doubt?
Have to be after the last time we tried sending her home. Do we have a human anchor?
No, you're on your own this time. But we'll make sure you survive casting it.
This spell should work, however, because we'll be using energy material. It will only require a slice of your energy on top of these items, which your guard can refill immediately after this.
Just make sure you don't die casting it.
There's a question mark at the end. Diana smiled at her guard before turning to me.
So, are you ready to return home?
Yeah, let's do it. She didn't have to ask. I'm ready. Diana nodded once more before turning back to the table. She lifted her arms over the surface and lowered her head, muttering under her breath.
Otre nibris portas, apriat nobis, largiatur exidium, desiderium.
As she spoke, the table began to glow, as did she. A dark purple aura began to surround her form as she lifted and arched her head back, staring at the ceiling. A glimpse at her eyes made me gasp. Warm golden orbs covered her blood-red irises, glowing with magic. She was deep within the spell, and I could see it slowly draw energy from her body. The items on the table began to gleam wildly, light orbs floating from them and dancing in the air above the table's surface. They began to weave back and forth with each other, almost as if the lights were dancing to a silent tune. The other demons stepped back as Diana moved her arms up and pointed to the dancing lights. Her finger pointed into the air, leaving the lights to follow where it directed obediently. She drew a large circle in the air, and the lights followed like a perfect trail, like in Brave with the will-o-wisps. They were spreading out and forming a large void in the air. As they finally stopped moving, they burst into a bright light, causing the demons and I to cover our eyes from it. Ouch! It engulfed the room, but it died down just as fast, revealing a small tear in the air. Or tear? Tear? I don't know. Diana quickly leaned forward and dug her hands into it before pulling the tear apart, revealing my bedroom! We've had a lot of memories there in this game. Diana continued to pull the tear open, then giving enough space for me to jump through.
Hurry and go through! This is your chance!
Go through. I wasn't going to let it go to waste. I gripped the bottom of my dress and rushed forward, using momentum to jump into the air and forward towards the void. I could almost reach it. I could feel the air conditioning of my room right in my fingertips.
She will never leave this world alive!
Why not? I just want to go home. Why are you so grumpy? Oh. The Demon Lord's voice rang through the air just as I saw my fingertips pass through the tear. What stopped the rest of my body was a red light and force, forcing me and Diana back from the opening. Ugh! I felt my body fly backwards and slam into the wall before I landed on the stone ground. I heard Diana as well land beside me with a painful thud. Diana is not having a good day, and I mean, she needs to just kill this demon lord so that I can go back unobstructed. I looked up and felt my heart break as the tear became wrapped in red lightning, zipping itself closed and vanishing into thin air. No, this could not be.
Damn it!
That should have worked! How could it have failed?
We must have missed something. Was there anything we had forgotten?
No, I verified everything myself.
Then why was the Demon Lord able to overpower a gate spell?
I highly doubt you know either, brute.
Stop fighting! We need to make a plan and all of you are just being stupid! Stupid, 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 stupid!
Alright, let's stop fighting now.
Are you alright, Isaiah?
I'm fine.
I too was lost in I was too lost in my mind to fully understand what was going on around me. I was so close. I felt the other side. I had almost made it home. Why couldn't I go home? I would love to go home. Diana's grunt of pain next to me made me shoot my head towards her, and I watched her slowly push herself off the ground and glare at the table.
The Demon Lord must have done something more than simply bring her here.
What could he have done?
Now, the Demon Lord is incapable of doing anything of the sort. His lackey imps must have done something to her.
A spell?
A curse.
I looked to the rabbit woman, seeing her stare wide-eyed at me. The other demons stared at me as well, and suddenly I felt like I was on display. Was something wrong with me?
She will not leave the demon world alive. He must have placed some sort of curse on her to prevent her from leaving this plane. In order to leave, she'd have to die.
Where would I go after I died? Does that make anyone... What?
Are you suggesting a barrier curse?
That would explain the red energy that sealed the tear.
But dark magic like that requires...
The blood of 1,000 demons. He must have sacrificed part of his army to cast a curse on her that would prevent her from leaving.
Why does it matter that I stay
The
here for
Demon
him?
Lord is that desperate for her.
The only way to break that kind of curse is to kill the caster, the Demon Lord himself.
I knew it.
She's trapped here. Until this war is over.
Oh, he wants his sons to come back and fight on his side, I bet. Ha 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 ha. I know what you're doing there, Demon Lord. Why? I slammed my fist into the ground and began to scream. I want to go home! Why? Why did he have to do it on my wedding day? Like he couldn't have waited until a week after the honeymoon when I was feeling all snuggly and I had had all the cake. No, I don't even get to eat my own cake. I am so disappointed. Okay. I could feel the sympathy and anger in the room, but I didn't care. I was beyond livid. I was far past broken. I was seeing red. I'm not going to scream. I don't want to break your eardrums. As my voice ripped through the air, a bright light erupted through the room once again. Everyone covered their eyes, but Diana quickly scrambled to get on her knees and covered me with her body. She is secretly in love with me even now. That is hilarious and adorable. She held me tightly as the light invaded the space and slowly began to fade. As the light finally died, everyone moved their hands to see what had happened. In the air was a white tear that was slowly opening, facing down towards the table. Something was coming. I could feel it in the air. Maybe it's Erik. The guard summoned his spear and pointed it at the tear, glaring at it and gritting his teeth.
Something's coming!
Also, one of you said in the comments, I think, of this last video, that, Erik had, given us his demon name, which I can't remember, of course. I think Rystro is James. That's the only one I remember, because it was in the title of one of my videos. I want to say it starts with an A. Who knows? But, yeah, she had given her his demon name so that she could summon him whenever. So why isn't she summoning him? I don't know if it maybe doesn't cross planes, but we haven't tried it yet. In reply, Diana summoned what looked like a saber and planted it in front of her.
Ready yourselves! It could be the Demon Lord!
The other demons in the room readied themselves and stared at the tear, either holding a weapon or preparing a spell. I felt the air change, becoming heavier as the tear began to grow. The energy around it began to pulsate, making everyone in the room that much more tense. I stared at the tear as well, frightened as to what was coming. Was it the Demon Lord? His minions? My mind began to cycle through the fearful ideas of what was about to appear. Boys? My heart almost stopped. Falling from the tear in the landing were the 5 Incubi brothers. I knew it. They were piled on top of one another, having come through one at a time. However, as the last of the brothers landed, the boys fell to one side, toppling off the table and landing on the floor. Super graceful, as always. The rebels around me stared at the fallen pile of incubi, confused and surprised. As the tear in the air closed, the ogre man was the first to lower his sword.
What the hell?
Who are they?
Careful! They could be the Demon Lord's men!
They're his siblings! No, I'm just kidding. They're his sons. No! The rebels looked at me as I stood up, Diana following and still protecting me. Oh my gosh, that's so nice of her. Why is she being so nice? I'm very suspicious all of a sudden. As I stared at the boys at the ground. Because, let's say this is Erik's route. I mean, at the end of his route, he didn't give her anything because of me. And we kind of said some mean things to her. Not, aggressively mean, just nobody wants you here. Because she kept trying to sleep with me and him and stuff. It made sense in the moment. Go watch the Seduce Me 1 playthrough if you weren't there. Anyway, they all looked dazed and a bit shell-shocked from having fallen twice in rapid succession. I almost couldn't believe it. There they were, right in front of me. My mind couldn't help but remember how I had first met them. They had all been on the floor of my mansion, unconscious and wounded. Now they were in front of me in the demon world. I know them. Intimately. I stared at the one I was meant to marry, seeing him slowly shake his head and rise from the ground. Erik! They came to rescue me. He came to rescue me. My heart became overjoyed and full of warmth and happiness. I was going to go home. The question was, how? At the sight of the boys, the demons... kept the demons' attention. A second tear opened above them, causing everyone to look up. 4 women dropped down from the tear and somehow managed to fall into the arms of the incubi behind Erik.
Whoa!
Women? Who are you?
I gotcha!
you?
Are you okay? I gotcha! It's...
James!
Do they
Whoa,
have girlfriends?
Are you alright?
I stared wide-eyed. Their wives came too? Are you kidding me? They're married? Are you serious right now? Is anyone else super offended? Not that they found love, because obviously that would be great in real life. But like, I mean, we've married all of them, basically. And there's options to marry all of them. It's so awkward to have them have, like, another soulmate in the game. Like, have that be in fanfiction. Holy cannoli. I'm gonna be so mad when I play the other guys' route and I see, like, Eric's wife. And then I'm gonna be jealous over Matthew's. And, like, other stuff. I don't like feeling jealous in Atome games. It's an ugly emotion. Anyway, what do you guys think? Am I being oversensitive? Probably. Should remind myself that they're fictional and I have a very nice boyfriend in real life. Anyway, I watched as the boys and the girls finally planted themselves on the ground before looking around. As Erik spotted me, however, he began to rush towards me. And wait a second, how did they get married before we did? Because we definitely met before they met any of their female humans. I mean, were these ladies like super big donors on the Kickstarter page or something?
Princess!
Princess! I wanted to rush back to him. I wanted to run over and wrap my arms around his neck. I missed the touch of his lips, his embrace. Yet my body would not allow me to move forward. In fact, I shied away and hid behind Diana, gripping her waist and averting my eyes from him.
What the?
Still?
I shut my eyes despite my heart screaming at me to turn towards Erik. I knew that he would either enthrall me to break this hold on me, so I wanted to look at him and let him. However, my body continued to duck behind Diana's body, avoiding Erik's gaze. As I heard Erik step forward, Diana wrapped an arm back around her and placed it on my back. For some reason, I felt comforted by her touch. Was she casting a spell on me?
Diana, if you please.
Not until you explain what is going on. Why does she hide from you?
See, she's being protective.
I assure you, it's not what you think.
I will not repeat my question.
I felt Diana's hand clench over my back. I felt unnatural elation wash over me at the protection she was providing me, but my heart cried out for Erik. Whose playthrough is this, Diana's or Erik's?
She does want to see Erik. Something's stopping her from doing that.
It's a good thing he's psychic, or everyone would be like, what's going on?
And I'm supposed to believe this.
Please, just let me.
I watched from behind Diana as her guard quickly stepped forward and placed himself between Diana and Erik, spear pointing at my incubator.
I suggest not taking another step forward.
Ooh, sassy. I like how he's not even facing Erik, though.
Wait!
The rabbit-eared woman, in the midst of the tension, quickly rushed over to me and bent down to look directly in my eyes. I looked at her, trying to convey my need to see Erik through my eyes.
Hold still, okay?
What are you?
Ostende mihi kotum.
Nope, no idea what that means. Staring into the woman's eyes, I watched as a warm gold hue painted over her sweetly pale blue eyes before she closed them. As if something had been unlocked, a large click resonated through my mind. All at once, I felt my will take control, and I stood up straight, now able to do what I desired without any resistance.
Love.
Yes? Erik! I quickly ran around Diana and rushed towards Erik, wrapping my arms around his neck and feeling him envelop me in his own arms. His warm embrace made my heart squeeze in my chest as I held him close to me. I smiled as Erik kissed over my cheeks, his embrace conveying how beyond happy he was to have me back, willingly, in his arms. Let's kiss him. I tightened my arms around Erik and tilted my head to kiss him. My heart fluttered at the touch and taste of his lips against mine. He eagerly kissed me back, tightening his own hold on me lovingly. Diana turned to the rabbit-eared woman with the look of pure confusion on her face. She's probably like, why doesn't she love me?
What?
Sorry, Diana. You're cool.
She's under some sort of secondary spell. Repulsion, it seems. What I cast on her was an emotional release spell, and that temporarily removed the hold on her.
Okay.
But she's been here a full day, and none of us felt any sort of hold on her.
Well, we didn't exactly figure out that she was cursed either.
Cursed?
I felt Erik's hold on me tighten as I looked up at his face. He looked to Diana with an expression full of concern and confusion. As I heard Diana sigh, I turned slightly to watch her cross her arms.
Yes. She's been cursed by the Demon Lord. She cannot leave until she dies or until we kill him.
The incubi look at each other in surprise, but Erik kept his eyes on Diana and kept me tight in his embrace.
I'm assuming you plan to kill the Demon Lord, right?
When will this happen?
Yes, in 1 week's time.
1 week?
Why are they waiting so long?
Where is this number coming from, Succubus?
Where's the moon in
We
the right
need to
place?
fully prepare ourselves for the final stage, which I'm certain will only take a couple of days. We've pinned him into a corner. The Demon Lord will fall.
That's rather bold to assume.
She's right, though. We can prepare everything in that time frame, right?
This is an awfully long time not to know some of these guys' names.
And if he does the same and attacks us before then?
He won't.
I watched as Diana walked over and cleared the table of the materials they had gathered for the gate spell, revealing a physical map of the abyssal plains. Instead of the holographic explosion thing, she pointed to a spot on the map, a peninsula surrounded by water labeled as the Decaying Sea.
We'll cast a barrier spell along the edge of the peninsula and around the castle. He and his army won't be able to move from that spot until we break it ourselves, which will be during the siege.
Okay.
Where would we get the energy needed for that kind of spell?
We won't be using energy.
Oh, where we're going, we don't need... Is it doors or something? I don't remember what it was. Anyway, nice reference, Bumbleberry. Yep. The other rebel demons in the room suddenly tensed up, staring at Diana in surprise. What was she going to do?
My lady, you're not suggesting...
The Demon Lord has shown how far he is willing to go to win this war. It's only fitting to show the extent we'll go to in response.
What did I
As
miss?
much as I agree with you, this seems a little rash.
What are you guys talking about?
Exactly.
Are they allowed to know?
I plan to put a barrier curse around the Demon Lord's castle and army. It's temporary, so it won't need the blood of 1,000 demons. But it will need the sacrifice of at least one demon life.
And I assume you'll be sacrificing one of my soldiers.
No.
Is this our only option?
Does James's voice sound different?
There
Or
are
just
other
more muffled.
options.
Or maybe
but
it's because he
they will
doesn't have
most
the echo
likely
of
take a
everyone's
lot of energy to pull off.
It just depends on what we want to do. If we want to do this immediately, then the barrier curse is indeed the best option.
The barrier curse.
I'm not opposed to performing the curse. As rash as it is, it will make our lives easier in the long run.
Okay.
You expect me to hand over one of my men? My soldiers joined the rebellion to kill the Demon Lord, not to get their throats slit before even seeing the final battle.
Diana is in charge, senor, and she probably won't ask for one of those guys to step forward. She'll probably kidnap one of the evil demons and be like, swoosh, 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 swoosh. You cannot touch this.
It's wrong, but can we really afford to spend any more energy? Diana already spent a lot trying to send the human back.
What is the other option?
The rabbit woman and the fairy moved towards the map and pointed it at the peninsula.
We could form tall rock walls around the castle. Box him in.
It will take a lot of our energy, but we can recover in that week period.
Please tell me I don't have to make the
And
choice.
what will stop the Demon Lord from tearing down the walls?
I can imbue the walls with holy magic.
Incubi and I looked at him, all of us equally surprised. A demon with holy magic? How?
How the fuck did you get holy magic? You look and smell like a demon.
Sam, we need to censor you sometimes. The guard held up his wrapped hand, letting the beads around it jangle in the sudden motion.
I've had the ability to use holy magic ever since I was taken in by my lady's family. There's no doubt that I am a demon, but I can't recall how I gained this ability.
How is that holy magic different than, demon magic?
It's white magic. Unlike demon magic, holy magic isn't so finicky. Think of it as warding or dispelling magic. You can't bless air or anything that doesn't have physical form, but you can bless objects to fight back against other forms of magic.
If the walls were blessed with holy magic, the Demon Lord wouldn't be able to escape until we released him.
Why not just trap him forever?
That's idiotic. He would still be a threat regardless. Holy magic doesn't last forever. And stone will crumble eventually.
Don't demons die eventually, or are they
He's
immortal?
right. We wouldn't be able to keep the walls up forever.
The situation became more and more complicated the more we discussed it. Exactly! Let's go on a date. That is how I
We
want to
can't
spend
just
this
sit
game.
around and debate this forever. The longer we wait, the more we risk him striking back at us.
But is it worth killing someone to trap him?
When we finally strike, we will lose hundreds, if not thousands, of soldiers anyway. What difference will it make to lose one more life on top of this?
Soulless fuck.
Oh, mean.
We can
You're
still
all
cage him in.
I bit my lip. It really was a tough decision. A curse or a trap, which was better? Both had their prices, but we had to choose one. From the look of it, no one wanted to speak up, so I felt the urge to say something. No! Maybe I would be the one who would determine everything. I mean, I think the barrier spell's a better idea, but I really don't feel comfortable asking anyone to sacrifice themselves. So I'm gonna save, and then we'll pick the trap. Which method is the best? I say the trap. Everyone in the room now looked as I finally spoke up. We needed to be better than the Demon Lord. He was willing to sacrifice lives to trap me here, but it only showed how desperate he was to win and how little he valued life. He would lose this war one way or another. And actually, I think we should choose the curse when we're with Sam. I think he would appreciate the curse. It wasn't worth losing someone who could help turn the tide of the war. When can you put a barrier up?
We can leave after this, meeting is over.
Good, because...
Are you sure this is the best choice?
No. The curse isn't the only option. We need to show that we're better than him. Everyone nodded, some in reluctance, while others did it with confidence. I looked at Diana just in time to catch a twitch from her visible eye, but she shook her head. She shook her head and looked to the rabbit woman.
Are you quite positive this will work?
I am very certain. Since it will be just 3 of us going, we can shadow travel there and be back by the morning.
Diana looked at her guard and nodded.
Very well. If you believe it will work, then I trust you will make sure it does.
As the guard nodded and slightly bowed, the other demons seemed to let out a sigh of relief. Were they worried about performing the curse? Diana shook her head before crossing her arms and looking directly at me.
So, since you'll be here for a while, we might as well give you names that you can use to refer to everyone here.
Oh my gosh, this is just like the introduction.
Are we getting human names?
Must we?
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Diana rolled her eyes and gestured to each demon, naming them on the fly.
For the sake of time, we'll use simple names. This is Rabbit, our magic advisor. Sergeant, commander of our armies. Shadow, leader of our assassins. And Faye, our nomadic force ambassador.
That's it? Those are their names? Human names, quote unquote? Those are like dog names. That's okay.
Sergeant, I'm a commander, succubus. Shouldn't my name be Commander?
It's easier on the tongue, though, to say Sergeant.
My lady, what shall they call me?
Diana looked at Sero. Well, now he has a name. For a moment before turning towards me, a look of seriousness emanating from her eyes.
You may call him Sero. He is my personal guard, and he is always by my side.
Why are you looking at me and saying that so physically? I understand he sleeps with you a lot. The other demons and Sero seemed to be surprised. Was Sero his true demon name? Why would she give me his true name? Oh, so then I could summon him?
Are you sure?
Call him only if your life depends on it. Do not abuse this permission.
Well, don't I have her name too? Her eyes seemed to burn as she gazed into mine, full of hard intent and warning. I mentally noted her seriousness as she ran her hand through her hair.
Well, now that we have a plan and introductions are out of the way, I believe we can end this meeting. We have a lot to accomplish in one...
What about us? You don't expect us to sit around.
Erik, we can have our honeymoon when you know.
Actually, I do. You all don't belong on the battlefield.
Whoa. Huh?
I will not take untrained and unarmed beings into a war zone.
Hold on. I interjected, stepping forward and crossing my arms at Diana. She seriously wasn't going to make us stay back while she... Oh, she seriously... Oh, wait, I'm confused. We can fight too. Diana squinted at me, pressing her lips together in a fine line. However, I meant what I said. We could fight too.
You expect me to trust that you can fight in a war?
No.
Let me and my brothers train then. We're demons, for fuck's sake. We know how to fight.
The boys stared at Diana as she turned her head towards Sam. He was right, though. They knew how to train, so they knew how to fight. If they fought with the rebellion, there would be a better chance of winning this war.
You all realize this is a war, correct? You can die here.
We understand completely.
We understand, Diana.
Diana could only stare at our group as we challenged her proclamation. I wrapped my hand around my fiancé's arm, frightened at the idea of participating in a war, but knowing we needed all the strength we could muster to finish off the Demon Lord. This was the only way I could go home. Defeated, Diana sighed and rubbed her temples.
Very well. I can't exactly keep you here like prisoners, so it will be up to you if you choose to train for battle. However, I highly suggest just staying here and allowing us to handle it.
Ah, fine by me. I nodded, as did the others. This was really happening. We were going to kill the Demon Lord, and we had 1 week to either prepare for war or wait it out. Isn't this what she wanted in the first place, though? Like, why are they so eager to help this time? Diana turned towards me and looked at my outfit. I had nearly forgotten I was still wearing my wedding dress until Diana pointed at my chest.
Lumen infere, bellum tabescere, serene.
Oh, siren dress. Why not? I stared at her, unsure of why she was speaking in Latin. Oh my gosh, have you not had like a million spells so far? Until I felt fabric around me shift and change. I quickly looked down to see my wedding dress morph into an outfit that looked perfect for the demon world, which is to say like non-existent. What am I wearing? The white top shifted into a long-sleeved, oversized tunic with a leather corset and vest, while the bottom part of the gown split and wrapped around my legs, forming into dark leggings. My shoes stretched into a long knee-high boots.
Wow. Very nice outfit.
Thank you, Nurin. Oh, she has the cat leggings. I see those advertised all the time. They're super cute. I blushed, getting used to the new feel of the outfit. The corset wasn't tight, but it was still something new along with the rest of the garb. Erik, however, smiled down at me and kissed my forehead.
You look wonderful, Princess.
Thank you.
Faye, Rabbit, you both should finish your preparations and head over to the Demon Lord's castle for the spell.
How are you going to get there?
I'll get us there, no problem.
Just make sure we don't get stuck there or lost.
No promises.
Zero, make sure the job is done.
I shall, my lady.
Sarah, Faye, and Rabbit began to make their way out of the room as Diana turned to me and my group. As they left, Diana let out a small sigh.
I will take you to some rooms you may rest in.
Maybe the reason the guys brought their wives is so that they can, like, have potential backup energy, or they would miss them, but I still don't understand how they got married in the time frame of this game. Like, I know that we skipped ahead a couple of, like, years or whatever, or maybe, like, a year. I don't know. At the end of the game, before we got the proposal ending with him, but, like, they can't have gotten married in between when we got engaged and married. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I guess they could if they were just like, woohoo! But I don't know. I don't know if I buy it. Diana merely nodded and led our group out of the room towards our new temporary rooms. I felt insanely nervous. The entire situation was beyond my imagination. Stuck in the demon world under 2 kinds of enchantments? That was unreal even for me. Still, we were going to work towards finishing this war and getting me home. We had to do everything we could to keep our focus straight. As Erik and I were escorted to our room, I felt the need to cling to Erik's arm. It had only been a day since we had been taken away from the human world, but for the longest time I had to be enthralled to get close to him. Now I was freely and willingly able to hold on to Erik's arm. Alright, so I was able to hold on to Erik's arm. I don't know why this matters. Hug him tightly? I couldn't help it. I needed to feel closer to him after all this time. Being separated was not something any bride wanted from their soon-to-be partner. I wrapped my arms around Erik's arm, hearing him chuckle and lay his free hand over my arms lovingly.
You know, I wanted to walk down the aisle with you as your husband. I was so worried when you didn't show up to the ceremony.
My heart sank as I looked down. I hadn't wanted to leave him at the altar, but the Demon Lord had other plans. I gritted my teeth before feeling Erik's lips on my temple, causing me to look back up at him.
I know it wasn't your doing, love. Don't be upset. You weren't gone long.
Not gone long. I'd been in the Abyssal Plains for a full day. Whoops. How long was I missing for? Erik rubbed his neck and looked away, a small blush forming on his cheeks.
Around 5 hours.
5 hours? I was here a full day. How does that even work?
Well, time runs differently here than it does in the human world. In the time it takes for an hour to go by in the human world, 5 go by here in the demon world.
5. 1 to 5 ratio. Really? That's very specific, but okay. My mind spun slightly at the idea. Time moved differently here? I shook my head to let it go. Not gonna sing it. At least I wasn't gone long in the human world. What happened when you found out that I was missing?
Well, your father was demanding that Sam open a missing persons investigation since he's a police officer. Luckily, James was able to calm everyone down, and with Irides's energy, he blocked everyone's memory and told them to return home and the real wedding would begin later.
James can do that?
Only with his wife's help. That gave us time to try to locate you. When we did, we all decided to come through to get you back.
I could only imagine what it had been like, all of them huddled in a room trying to find me. I felt a little bit flattered, but I knew that it was because they all cared about me, the wives included. I was happy that they did, and that I was back with Erik at last. Why didn't they have the wives, sit with me? Why did I have no bachelorette party? Gosh, I have so many questions! Our walk continued until I entered my old room with Erik. Our guide left us alone, needing to prep for the rest of the day. Erik sat on the bed, ushering me in to sit beside him. Like a magnet, I was drawn to him, sitting beside him. It was a major relief for my mind to know that everything was going to be taken care of. It was an even larger relief to know that I could be with the man I loved in the meantime. I laid my head on Erik's shoulder and he wrapped his arms around me.
Are you really okay?
Cursed, but fine. I nodded. The only thing that was wrong with me was being trapped, but there was nothing I could do until we got to the Demon Lord. Erik seemed to know this as well and kissed over my head.
Well, at least you were no longer disgusted by me.
Erik. I was never disgusted by you. I was never in control. Sure. It was true, I didn't have control of myself. It was almost cringeworthy remembering the horrible things I said to him. This new freedom was a blessing. He put up with some crazy stuff. But that's okay. Because he loves me. And, it wasn't my fault. You can't just be crazy and be like, well, they love me, so it's okay. I know, Okay. Erik nodded once again before hugging me softly to him, laying us back across the bed. I wrapped my arms unconsciously around him and listened to the rhythm of his breathing. It was slow, relaxed, which made me in turn feel at peace.
We'll get to go home soon.
Yay, I know. I closed my eyes, letting our embrace slowly entice me to sleep. It didn't bother me that I was dressed with my boots still on. It was such a peaceful transition, I barely felt the shift between being awake and being asleep. I held Erik close to me, listening to his heartbeat. The simple syncopation of it filled my own heart with such joy that I could not deny the smile on my face from forming. Whatever held me for so long no longer had hold of my mind and my body, allowing my heart to once again guide my actions. As I slept, however, a voice that I had not heard in a while reappeared.
Why? Why did you do that?
Oh, the children's thing? Within the darkness of my dreams appeared a familiar purple orb, floating in the vast space. I felt once again charmed by it, but I was more confused as to why it was in my dream and why it had asked me such a question.
Why would you do that?
Do what? What are you doing here?
I don't understand.
You need to calm down. What are you doing here? I had to repeat myself. The orb didn't move or change, but something about looking at it made me feel unsure. Why was this spirit haunting me?
I don't understand why you like him.
Rude. Is this my girlfriends back home who also didn't throw me a bachelorette party or be with me on my wedding day, Naomi and Suzu? Or are they off in the universe? I don't understand why you like him. Why I like Erik? Wait, was the spirit the reason I was aggressive to Erik? I glared at the orb, suddenly putting two and two together. You were the one that made me act so cruel towards him.
He's icky. He's an icky man.
He is not icky. He's glorious. He's the man I love. I love him dearly, and I didn't want to treat him like I did. If I was being forced, then I needed to stop the one who was forcing me.
Loving a person doesn't make them less icky.
What is so icky about him?
He talks funny. He keeps touching you. He has those...
sex eyes?
Yeah! He is so icky. Icky!
Oh my gosh, are you
I'm not as disgusting as you make me out to be, spirit.
Yay, Erik's in my dreams. My heart jumped at the sound of Erik's voice. In front of me, he appeared a reddish shadow which quickly formed itself into Erik. The orb seemed to pulsate at the sight of him.
Icky man!
My name is Erik, and you are not welcome in my princess's dreams or her body.
Thank you, Erik. What do you think? Can you take it? Dun, 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 dun.
You're not either!
Erik looked back to me and smiled before stepping forward, making the orb back away a bit. I couldn't tell if it was fear or anger, but the pulsing energy around the orb seemed to become larger at Erik's stare.
My duty is to protect my princess from anything that threatens her. You, rogue spirit, are considered a threat.
Yeah.
All you do is touch her and take her energy.
He loves me. That's not true.
What else does the icky man do?
He makes me sandwiches. He tells me I'm a principessa. He saves my life. We watch movies. We go to the park. I opened my mouth to retort back, but suddenly froze, feeling my thoughts escape me. For some reason, I couldn't remember anything else Erik had done except for what the spirit said. He would kiss me, hold me, and take my energy. This was wrong. Something was definitely wrong. Why couldn't I pin down more things Erik did for me? Like when he helped us clean. I held my head and shut my eyes, trying to focus harder on my thoughts. Erik, however, stepped towards the orb, a group of ethereal tendrils emerging from his back.
That's enough. You don't belong here, spirit.
I expected the spirit to fight back, but it didn't say anything more. After a moment of silence, the spirit faded into the darkness of the dream. Erik and I both let out a small sigh of relief.
Are you okay?
Great. I'm better now. Erik nodded before wrapping his arms around me.
I swear that I will keep you safe.
Good luck. I get into a lot of trouble. The words Erik spoke resounded in my chest, making me feel light and believe every word that escaped his lips. I felt safe enough just to hear his determination. Still, I couldn't help but feel a small restlessness in my body, despite being in a dream. I thought that sleeping would help my anxiousness in the situation I was in, but it only made me more worried. With this new fear in my mind, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to hold out until we defeated the Demon Lord. A spirit was really haunting my thoughts. This was insane, to say the least. The spirit was quelled for now. I would have to find a way to expel it from my body. Okay, so we are going to stop it here, and next time we will, train however we can, I guess. I don't know if I have mystical powers or not in this second one, depending on which route you took. And, yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Take over the universe in a non-violent, peaceful way, like playing Pokemon Go, but pay attention to your surroundings all the time. Okay, I'm calm. What do you think of the ladies? I hate them a little bit less now. I shouldn't say I hate them. I guess I resent their existence because they did not throw me a bachelorette party. That's all. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Like or comment below. And like I said before, I do have a Facebook page now. If you're into that thing, I don't know what to put on it for right now. So let me know if you have any ideas. I'll see you all later. Bye. Stay sweet.